Hello, hi. Basically, this is not going to be an aesthetic vlog trying to get myself together. Like, I will try to get back on track, but it's not going to be like this 5 a.m. morning and stuff. We are starting at 10 a.m. I'm going to eat breakfast. Probably I'll take my Bible with me to just start reading. I'm trying to do a challenge where I focus just on reading the Bible because I feel like I used to do that more. We're gonna do as much reading as we can. You know what? I am not motivated at all, but we're gonna try anyway. Because like I cannot wait for the time where I feel like it. Because when will I feel like doing something? Last few days were tough and I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. But also that's why I was like, we need to fix our eyes on Jesus and focus on what is most important. And also, like, I know that on my own, I cannot deal with that thing going around here. So let's go, let's get breakfast. Maybe it was a good idea to film. Like, remember how I said that I didn't feel motivated? Now, as I'm sitting here, I got this urge to turn on the TV, which, if you know me, I'm like not a big fan of watching TV. I should really get to reading. Because you may think that these are little things. These are like just distractions that keep you from just reading, from your quiet time. So that's why we are not waiting for the time when we feel like it. I have read a little bit in the book of First Kings, like 2 or 3 chapters in the First Chronicles, chapter of Ezekiel, and it was 2 chapters of Hosea. Because while reading through Hosea, it's really interesting how in the beginning, like, it's about Hosea and his wife. We can also like read this as like a picture of Israel and their relationship with God. It's like I knew that that was how the book starts. Just reading that, just wow. I prepared a little like plan of what I want to read. And here I have my Bible, my supplies, the cat. And here we have like a file with where I'm writing everything that I find like interesting during reading. For example, here I have some names that I want to research that I came across in the genealogies, but I just put all of those like things in this file to like research them later so that I am not distracted. This is a very good thing to have, like either a file on your computer, maybe notes on your phone, or just a sticky note or a piece of paper where you just write everything that like comes to your head, which could turn into a distraction and a little rabbit hole. Because I know that if I just sat down and researched those names, Yeah, that would be a rabbit hole for me, and I will probably find like some other things to decide to research. It was like that when I was doing Bible study, like probably days or weeks ago, but I remember that I was searching, I was reading something about King David, and I was researching something, and then how I came across like what language did Adam and Eve speak? I was like, that's a nice question. I also like wondered that because I love languages, and just this is a anything that has to do with languages is an interesting thing to me. Researching the Adamic language is interesting because, like, you know, there had to be some language there. Um, and also, like, later we have the chapter about the Tower of Babel. So, like, if the languages were twisted, there had to be some languages before, and that was just interesting to read about just different opinions on that. I really dug deeper into the genealogies, and let me show you something. I look like a shrimp a little bit, sorry. Now what I want to find is in First Chronicles. Like I sometimes honestly get confused while reading, so like I'm making notes, but in chapter 4 there are other clans of Judah. In verses 9 and 10 are just like in between the genealogy. And there is a story of Jabez, not sure how to pronounce that, and I of course like researched that because it's like, and then I found that like, yeah, there's a line of genealogy, this story of Jabez, and then the genealogy goes on. But I think it's actually cool that like we have this story because it's about how Jabez cried out to the Lord and just prayed that the Lord may be with him, and says that God granted his request. Which now, when I'm thinking, it's like, because I have been worrying a lot. Like a lot. I'm overthinking. But now I'm thinking like they just need to ask God and he will help. And also, this reminds me of what I read literally a moment before in Hosea. In chapter 6, in this part, after 2 days he will revive us, on the third day he will restore us, that we may live in his presence. Let us acknowledge the Lord, let us press on to acknowledge him. As surely as the sun rises, he will appear, and he will come to us like the winter rains, like the spring rains that water the earth. I've just felt something reading that verse, and now I needed that. Just by the grace of God, I have a breath in my lungs, so I feel like sometimes I need to like remind myself that first, as long as I'm breathing, I've got a reason to praise the Lord, and the second, if it's not good, God is not done. And yeah, this is going to be the first part. I'm gonna have my water break. Kitty cat, kitty cat, can I have you for a minute? He's just so sweet. It's actually nice that he is actually sitting here calmly today. And I'm happy that my English cooperates with me because, what a language madness it is in my head. As I often say that this cat is my little baby, and I feel like we're more like siblings that annoy each other. No, you cat, you don't annoy me. It's more me annoying him. No, you wanna go? Do you want to eat? See his reaction in a minute. Co? Pora na jedzonko, co? I gotta give him food like right now. I think I wanna do some Pilates because my back hurts. Like at the just age of 20, I'm like I feel at least 50 years more. So here I am again. I read a little bit of Luke, John, Ephesians, and James, part of it. And I read a few Psalms out loud to just focus more because I felt like I couldn't focus. To also like sort of pray the Psalms. I just felt like strength and joy, and I prayed. Just I read out loud the parable of the lost sheep, and it just often touches me because you know what? I have this painting that I made in my room, and I painted like the parable of the good shepherd coming back with the one lost sheep to the other 99. I probably said before I get a bit lost in the math, and there's more than 100 sheep, but I read this parable, it touched me and I teared up. Today I have just a mix of different feelings when I'm reading. At moments I feel like I'm tired, I cannot focus, feel like I cannot process things normally as I should. But then after I read and I think about it a little, those small things like hit me. I need to like read the Bible more and overthink less. But if I could just sometimes turn my head off, it would be cool. It's not that easy, and I just need to like give myself a reminder that how can any one of us, by worrying, add a single hour to our lives or something like that. And also one of my favorite verses from that gospel: do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble on its own. I need to remind myself that let go and let God. It's just my camera shaky, or are those like my blood sugars? Because that's another thing, my blood sugar is high and I don't feel well.